Ladies and gentlemen, a very bloody bloodbath has broke out in the retail scene in Singapore and in Malaysia. And without a doubt, it's caused by the Chinese again, but this time with new aggressive entrants. And it's going to cause a lot of businesses to belly up. So let me give you the full analysis of what's happening and more importantly, what's the implication to our businesses and economy and what we should do. So the retail scene has gotten very competitive, and this is a step up right now in both Singapore and Malaysia, and without a doubt, this is caused by the Chinese competitors, but this time around is uniquely driven by one company. Well, the company we're talking about is Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo is a very aggressive Chinese hyper cheap platform that is basically connecting the factories all the way directly to the consumer. And right now, they have just come to Singapore and in Malaysia. And because of their entry and how aggressive they have gone, the competitor Taobao has also stepped up their competition in response to the threat by Pinduoduo. And combining both together, they are causing a huge bloodbath in the retail scene in Singapore and worse in Malaysia. So before this entry by Pinduoduo, they require quite a lot of minimum spend and they only entertain consolidated purchases and things like that. But Pinduoduo right now allow this thing called 一件包邮. That means that one item, however cheap it is, they allow you to ship for free. So a lot of consumer right now, they just buy simply because it's very cheap. And the prices could be as cheap as 25 to 30% of our Singapore and Malaysia retail price. So one item qualifies for free shipping already. And these goods are already priced at very cheap relative to that of the retail scene here. And of course, Taobao, who is also very aggressive, responded, and they're running a limited time, no minimum spend, free shipping promotion throughout August as well. Both companies are coming in and running a very aggressive promotion with basically free shipping and really buying up the market. Before the Pinduoduo and the Taobao promotion, how we used to buy things, of course, we would buy things in big bulk and to save on shipping from all this platform. And there's always shipping fee. If you go to our famous Shopee, Lazada, and all this, they're all selling things at very cheap price as well. But there was some shipping fee most of the case. But now with this, it basically encourages impulse buying, and you can buy a single low-cost item instantaneously. One big box of tissue, rice, oil, anything, just anything, clothes and everything. You just buy and it's very cheap. So in the past, we said we'll wait until we get enough orders. Now, it's only $2, just buy for fun. And the best part is anything goes wrong, anyway, just throw away, just $2. So with this right now, wow, the orders pick up tremendously. Taobao has reported volumes beyond expectation after shipping threshold has been removed. So this isn't about just free shipping. This is about customer acquisition. And the Chinese are very good in customer acquisition. They basically buy the market. In Chinese, we call it 砸钱, just throw money at grabbing the market. They're not stupid. They know that once they get you hooked onto this, they will gradually boy frog you. So they basically get you enticed to the platform. You use it, you get addicted to it, and gradually they will start increasing commissions to the merchants, and then they will lift some of this free shipping. By then, you will be very used to their platform. You can't get away without it. This is a promotion exercise to give you an awareness that their products are really cheap. So you can have a pair of scissors for $2, phone cable $1, and they're all shipped from China. It's very far away, for free. It's economically ridiculous to do that. But if you wear the hat of this platform, they are buying market. We have seen this with TikTok. We have seen this with Shopee, Lazada. They all use the same tactics when they first enter the market. And right now, they're all going into this kind of tactic is now adopted by Taobao and Pinduoduo, and basically says that we'll pay today to own the market and the customer for tomorrow. So what's the business model of these companies? How come their price can be so cheap? Well, it's not difficult to understand. In the past, how businesses are run, they basically first start from the factory. So the factory builds something, and then it goes to the exporter, and the exporter then ships the item all the way to overseas, and then it goes to a distributor. Then the distributor takes in the product from the exporter, then it goes to a wholesaler. The wholesaler then goes to a retailer. Can you see how many hands have changed? So if everybody just add 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever, just keep stacking on, stacking on, stacking on. So by the time it reached the consumer, the price would have doubled or even tripled. So what Pinduoduo is now doing is that they go straight from the factory to the customer, cut all the layers in between, and basically lower the price, because the biggest cost is not the cost of production. The biggest costs are all the middlemen. To be frank, the market that kena the most, got hit the most, is actually Malaysia. Malaysia got hit really badly. And many retailers are now reporting that they're seeing 30 to 40% reduction in sales volume. And they cannot believe at the cutthroat prices that the Pinduoduo merchants are offering. And they just can't fight the price. And recently, there is a Hungry Ghost Festival. I'm surprised that they actually can compete with them and lower the price to a level that the sales just go down tremendously, which is supposed to be a high sale volume for some of these retailers. So the SMEs right now are crying murder, and they are going to their politician asking for help and say that if you don't block these competitors from coming in, then they will destroy our market. So one of the reasons why it seems to hurt Malaysia more than Singapore is because Malaysia market is probably more price sensitive than Singapore, and that's probably largely due to the lower household income. Therefore, the price sensitivity or price elasticity is a lot higher. Now, I don't think that the Malaysian politician can do much, because it is very difficult to protect your market against competition globally. This is a globalized economy. How are you going to protect yourself? If you cut them away, they'll re-emerge in some other way and you still get it. Well, Singapore, yes, our impact is slightly less because this is a less price sensitive market, but we're not immune. I tried, wow, no, prices are so cheap. And of course, there is almost no reason for us to go to retail stores anymore. The only thing that sometimes we have to go to retail is simply because we need that thing urgently. But things that you need from retail, you could easily get online. And now the online scene is getting more cheaper. So it used to be shops in the retail space, physical shops, they get hit by the online space. So they get hit by Shopee, Lazada, TikTok, and or other disruptors. But now the disruptors are being disrupted by new disruptors, which is Pinduoduo, Taobao, and all this, going dirt cheap, buying market, and really hitting everybody. So in Singapore, you will see houseware and kitchenware insanely cheap. Furniture's super cheap. In fact, I think the entire furniture scene in Singapore is dead. And phone accessories, stationaries, pets, whatever, everything, right? Just insanely cheap. So the threat is not just physical shops. Physical shops have always been under threat. And here I want to say the obvious truth. Retail business is going to be disrupted. It's going to be dead. So I think it is important as businessmen, we have to accept the inevitable death. So quickly must pivot our business. But to be frank, I don't think it's just the physical shops that are hit. The online resellers and platforms are also hit. So it is like what I say, the disruptors of the physical space are now being disrupted. So these are all coming in to disrupt them. So basically, we'll see a very big bloodbath, and the bloodbath will only step up. So we've always said that, wow, the RTS Link is going to be set up end of this year or early next year. So all the retail business in Singapore is going to get hit. No, guys, the real threat are not going to be from across the causeway, right? Across the causeway, most likely F&B services, some service business such as maybe hairdresser, pedicure, massage services, spa, and so on. But now, retail scene is owned and dominated by the Chinese, and they are all coming in a big, massive way. So I don't think the RTS is going to be the killer of Singapore retail business. The death blow is already here by the Chinese. So who wins, who lose? Well, to be frank, for consumer, wow, it's wonderful, right? We get really cheap products and it helps to defray the cost of living and things like that. And the Chinese platforms are clearly winning. Logistic companies are doing well. So those people who are interested, go to the last mile business. That is the one that delivery or last mile is the most difficult. Parcel delivery and so on. Now, under pressure, don't be a retailer. Retailer is really tough right now. If you are small, it's even worse. And online, if you are just a simple online seller and all those, you're going to be disintermediated as well. And if you're a middleman, they're all going to be gone as well. I've seen this in many businesses and it's coming more and more aggressive. Well, as I said, this is just stage one. It's an acquisition phase. I think it will last usually for 1 to 2 years. I've seen that in the TikTok space. I've seen that in the Shopee Lazada space when it came in aggressively buy market. And gradually, as more and more retailers die off, the competition get level up, then they gradually milk the businesses and increase price in terms of commissions to the retailer, some shipping fees as well. And as a result, by the time things settle down, the retail scene is totally dead. So what's the story for us? I need to say this, don't be a freaking retailer. Retailer is really tough. I've been in the retail business, so I know it's really tough. And this, when I say retail business, is not just physical retail. That's the worst. Online retail, if you don't have a special way of doing your business, that's also very difficult. So I think we got to find our niche. Unless we can find a certain niche, we have some unfair advantage. I think it's going to be very tough. As for the rest of us as consumer, that's great. Now, if you are in working for a company that's in a retail space, that's also going to be disrupted as well. So unless you have huge economies of scale like a Sheng Siong, NTUC, or Giant cold storage kind of thing, I think it's going to be really very difficult to compete with these guys. Well, let's see how the retail scene will be. Pinduoduo is here to stay. 他们会变得越来越多, right? They are going to accumulate more and more businesses in Singapore and Malaysia. And fighting them is futile. It's time to transform and adapt. For consumers, know that we now have choice, and it's always good to have choice. All right, thank you. And tonight, we're going to have a live stream with Dragon Tan because the new policy that's announced by Prime Minister Lawrence Wong will have some impact on property prices, and I want to give you the best analysis with the help of a professional. I'll see you tonight at 11. Bye-bye.